Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. Mine wouldn't be a speech today. I would be giving you details, so more of reading out things because I need to be very specific with regards to that. We've heard a lot, alhamdulillah. We've heard first how the Muslim youth is under suspicion. The first attack is suspicion. After that, there's a lot of things after that. Then we heard how the hate mongers are creating a rifts between two major communities in India. And also another brother of us, he spoke about the RSS and the agenda and whatever they have accomplished till date and all this. So to counter all this, probably and anybody and everybody would look at laws, right? We would definitely want to go to what is the law? Basically, it's rules that you make to have peaceful coexistence in a society, right? These are laws, basically. I would like to talk about Draconian laws. Laws which have been made by the government targeting a particular community. On the outside, it doesn't look like that, but with the impact, if you actually see what the law says, it is good. The law is good. But the impact of the law, if you analyze, you will see what the law is, basically. There are a lot of things, but I would like to speak about 4 laws. Number 1 is TADA. I don't have to introduce it. Everybody here knows that. Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Act. So as points, I'll give you what the act, what is the authority of the act. What does the personnel, the authority or the police or whoever is entitled to use this law. What are the points? This act was actually introduced in 1985 and amended in 1987. Any act for that, any law, any offense, you have a period of 24 hours after which you have to be presented before the magistrate. But TADA says nothing like that. There's nothing like that. You can be picked, and I'm sorry I would be using the word you because unless we believe that it is me, you will not feel it. Right? So you would be picked. You don't know where you're gone. You don't know where you're gone. And you can be detained there for 1 year. This is TADA. Okay? One more point is that confessions made by the detainees can be produced as evidence. You take a boy who is about 20 years old and you torture him left, right, center, he will definitely confess to you. And that's what is said that, okay, this boy has done this and he himself is, confessed. And that's evidence. That's how TADA, the rule is. Under the 7A of the Act, authorities are also empowered to attach the properties of the accused under this Act. If you are picked, your shop can be sealed, your house can be sealed, it can be ransacked, it can be done, whatever can be done. Just imagine it is you. Okay? And the accused cannot appeal in higher court except for Supreme Court. If you actually read these laws, the points, looks good, fair enough to somebody who's actually trying to disrupt the normalcy of the land. It looks fine, but if you read the impact of what TADA has given to India, you will come to know what are these points of, basically. Let me tell you what is the impact of the law. The number of people arrested under this act exceeded 76,000 by June 30th, 1994. 25% of these cases were dropped by the police without any charges. So 25% is gone. Only 35% of the cases were brought to trial, out of which 95% resulted in acquittals. Okay? So that means that less than 2% of those who were arrested were convicted. 100 people, for example, if there are 50 of you here, you all are picked up and one person is, is convicted. On what grounds? Allahu Alam. From where, the Tada basically, it came into limelight from one instance. Basically, in Mumbai, after the Babri Masjid, event, 72 people were booked, aged between 15 to 20. And the crime was that they were praying Salah on the road as a token of protest. Praying Salah. And they are picked on Tada. So praying Salah on the road as a protest is considered as Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Act. Okay? Rajesh Pilot at that time, he was the Internal Security Minister. He says, he presented the figures. He tells 67,000 odd persons booked under Tada between 1984 to 1994. 53,000 were bailed out, 8,000 people were tried, and 725 were convicted. These are the same stats. I'm just giving you a reference because it's not me, it was Rajesh Pilot who told that. I'll give you a report card of Tada. This is in the Milli Gazette. It says, total arrests under Tada, 77,000. Total people tried, 8,000. People convicted, 725. So, the calculation says that 0.81% are convicted. Not even 1 out of 100 is convicted. Just imagine what, the youngsters who are picked up on Tada. What about the 999 out of the 1,000? Or probably 990. What about the 99 youth who are picked up? Like you and me, probably talking over here, we picked up. And after about a year, or 3 years, or 4 years, we are told, okay, nothing. Aap baizat bari ho gaye. What about them? Okay, anyways. There was another law called POTA. These are very common laws. I'm just putting it in front. This was in 2002, it was brought forward. Everything remained the same. The only thing changed was from 1 year, it was brought down to 6 months. A person can be detained for a maximum of 6 months. So only thing changed was 6 months. The tenure. Only 4 months after its enactment, state law enforcement officers had arrested 250 people. And after 8 months, the number went up to 940. Out of which 560 of them are still languishing in jail. Out of the 940, 560 are still in jail under the POTA Act. We heard about Gujarat, right? I'll give you how beautifully POTA has played a beautiful role in that. Wonderful. If you were a hardcore anti-Muslim, you would love this, piece of information. You would love it. In Gujarat, Sabarmati Express, everybody heard that. 123 people were booked on POTA. Okay? Telling that you guys were the ones who burned the Sabarmati Express, S3 and S2 or whatever. POTA is done. Now what happens is, there is a repercussion. Planned or whatever it is, let's not get into it. Brother told all the details. More than 2,000 Muslims died, right? So many. It was a massacre. Okay? And everything that was done, everybody was like, what about POTA now? Narendra Modi says, no, this is not POTA. The POTA doesn't apply to Hindus over here. I'm giving you with evidence. Okay, he says it is unnecessary to invoke POTA against the Hindu rioters. The state government characterized the violence as spontaneous reaction to the train attack, despite the evidence that the riots were organized by Hindu wing groups. I'm not telling this. This is documented. Okay. Now, when all this happened, again a lot of Muslims also, they came up and they reacted. A lot of other, reactionary measures were taken by the Muslims. Booked under POTA. Amazing. Same act. One community is booked under POTA, the other communities, they're telling that, this is a spontaneous reaction, but the reaction was, everybody has in their mind whatever the reaction was. Right? This is POTA for you. Alhamdulillah, POTA, we have to thank Jayalalitha and Mayawati that POTA was removed, not by them, but the things that they did. Jayalalitha arrested Vaiko, under POTA. The political warfare was there. They used, and Mayawati arrested this guy called Raja Bhaiya, I'm sure you know. So then the government thought, okay, the politicians have started using this. Let's take it off. POTA's gone. Another law called Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment, UAPA. This was a very old law, but it was amended. Have you seen this, these cars which come out of a car factory? What happens is, when there's no, everything remains the same, only the shell is changed. Or for example, a chocolate. Everything is the same, only the wrapper is changed. So TADA, POTA, and now UAPA is actually the same. Everything is the same. The provisional comments that you read, if you read the entire act, it is verbatim. It is just like that. Whatever is written in POTA Act, it is written in UAPA also. A few additions, that's all. But this was kind of very dangerous. This UAPA has gone to a really extreme one for the Muslims. I'll just read out a few things. It says, UAPA gives police the freedom to interpret what constitutes terrorism and unlawful activities. A policeman, he can say that, what you're doing is terrorism. This is what UAPA does. Okay? It says, under this, even an economic offense, money laundering or possessing fake notes may be described as terrorism. 500 rupees ki jali note you have, UAPA, you are a terrorist. Okay, this is UAPA. Now, the definition of terrorism can be defined by a policeman. That's what, as I read. Under the section 15 of UAPA, as with POTA, the definition of terrorist act is so broad that ordinary cases of murder, robbery and theft may also be included. I do a robbery, it's a criminal case. You do a robbery, it's UAPA. Who's going to decide that? How is it? What is the discretion between that? All I can see is religion. Nothing apart from that. There's one more important thing with UAPA, which I want you to listen carefully, is that earlier, anybody who had to produce evidences, for example, I am calling Ibrahim Bhai on the call, and you suspect me, the authorities suspect me. So what they do is they take permission from specific authorities to tap the telephone. And that special authorities, it's a format, it's a protocol that has to go through that protocol, and after that, that particular telephonic conversation which is tabbed can be taken as evidence. But with UAPA, you don't need that permission. You can tap anybody and everybody, and you can produce that as evidence in the court. This is what UAPA says. And Srinivas Rao said that UAPA is more draconian law than the Rowlatt Act. That's in the in the British. British also had these kind of laws. So he says it's even more draconian, even more worse. Okay. I would want to kind of read out what Manisha Sethi said. She is one person who's been fighting against this act. Alhamdulillah, we should thank her, because I've never seen a Muslim name as much as Manisha Sethi. There are Kamal Farooqi and other people also are doing it, alhamdulillah. But Manisha Sethi is very active in this. She says, the convictions, I'm reading it out because I don't want to misinterpret it or misquote. The conviction of Muslim youth in terror cases come out of biased investigation and erroneous trials. There are innumerous instances where UAPA were booked against Muslim youths for mere possessing registered Urdu magazines, posters, and banners of some religious program. She said, it's not me. She says that koi bhi ek Urdu magazine, for example, Maulana is written 500 books, and in that one book is probably with regards to jihad. And you're reading the 500th book. First book was about jihad. You're reading the 500th book, and you can be picked up. And it has happened. That's what she says. In many cases, police booked UAPA cases against Muslim men for having copy of an Urdu magazine of one particular organization which was registered with RNI and containing no such incriminating matter. Person has read a book. He's been caught. They have read the book, but nothing in, there's, nothing specific which is kind of compelling the authorities to put them into behind bars, but still he's taken. In another interesting case, please listen to this. Police charged a woman under UAPA for having her name handwritten on one such magazine. Sethi explained through her experiences that how the accused and tortured in the police custody are tortured in the police custody, the manner the witnesses are concocted, the way trials are concocted, and how the verdicts are delivered by the lower judiciary. UAPA still exists, and I personally feel that the Muslims have to stand and voice our concern against this law. Pota and Tada, alhamdulillah, we know that. But UAPA, I think it's time we need to stand. As brother was telling that yesterday somebody was picked. I didn't, it didn't even matter to me because it was not me. Day before yesterday it was somebody else. It was not me. Unless it happens to me, it doesn't matter to me. This is the, attitude of Muslims right now. But don't be shocked if it is you tomorrow. Don't be shocked. Or if it is me. Anyways, moving forward, I would like to speak about another act which probably is not affecting you and me in Bangalore, but if it is definitely affecting our Muslim brothers. It is called Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA. There's a lot of hue and cry on this act. For a long time it's happening, and people are, I'll just read out. You can. What this act does is that it is basically not applied everywhere. It is applied in disturbed areas. For example, Manipur, Kashmir. Now, what does this act says? That it says, after giving due warning, the armed forces can fire upon you or use any other force, even if it causes your death. Again, I'm using this word "you" because unless we relate to it, we just generally don't feel that, right? Number 2, it says to arrest you with a warrant on suspicion. I suspect you and I am arresting you, right? Anybody can suspect anybody, like brother was telling in Canada that I can suspect you just because you have a beard. I am suspecting you, right? Then he says. Then another act is to enter and search your house in order to make arrests and find evidence. They can barge into your houses and search for you. If not, search for some evidence, whatever. Stop and search your vehicle at any point in time. Okay, and army officers have legal immunity for their actions. This is the most important thing that I would want to harp upon, where it says that The authorities who've given these, the personnel who's given these authorities, they are immune to all this because, legally immune to all this because whatever they do, nobody can file a case against them. Because that is their authority. What AFSPA has done in Kashmir, because we're talking about Muslims in India, so I would just limit it to Kashmir. What AFSPA has done to Kashmir, everybody has witnessed it. The number of murders, the number of disappearances, the number of rapes. How can a person rape? How can an authority rape a woman? You kill a person, I understand that, you were suspecting him and you killed him. But how can you rape? What authority does, this law give you that you can rape a woman? Example, Kunan Poshpura incident, everybody knows this incident where an entire village, all the men were taken on the behest of interrogation and all the women were raped. Can you imagine? And the Shopian case, everybody knows this. I'm just reiterating this, that 2 young women raped and murdered and just thrown, the bodies were thrown in the orchards. Rapes. Zakura and Tengpura massacre, 33 killed in one particular instance where people are protesting, and 33 people killed and 47 injured. Then Gawadakal, I've just listed a few. Gawadakal massacre where 35 people killed and 50 injured. I'll just tell you one, just to sum everything up, I'll just tell you what the bench of Justices B.S. Chauhan and Swatantar Kumar remarked to the Additional Solicitor General P.P. Malhotra. He represented the army. P.P. Malhotra was representing the army, and these two were justices who made this comment. Listen to this very carefully. He says, you go to place in exercise of AFSPA, you commit rape, you commit murder, then where is the question of sanction? This is not what I am telling. A chief justice, a bench of justices, they are telling the army officials that, you go to place and rape and murder, and you expect, the legal immunity to come. So if this statement has to come, that means that everybody has understood that this is real, right? You and me might close our eyes, but the world isn't. There are a lot of non-Muslims who are standing up for this cause. There are a lot of Muslims who are standing up for this cause. And there are a lot of Muslims who are dying because of this. But you and me are not deterred by the fact because it doesn't affect us. Right? I'll just close my talk by, telling you what Benjamin Franklin said. He says, justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Says that unless you and me are as outrageous as a person picked up by the police on the behest of UAPA or AFSPA or TADA, unless that is burning in me as much as burning in him, there's justice not going to be coming. And we are acting like the silent majority. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the strength to stand up for the cause, whether it is a Muslim or a non-Muslim. If there is some oppression, being done, Muslims are the ones who have to stand up. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that we are the best of the nations because we tell what is good and what is evil. We forbid evil and, enjoin people towards good. When we can't do it for our Muslim brothers, leave alone non-Muslims. So I would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me an opportunity, and also the Mission Possible team who've done this wonderful job. Jazakallah khair.